Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So, you know those old Ty Lopez ads from way back when where he just kind of showed off a Lamborghini and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, here's my Lamborghini in my garage. But you know what's important or more important? Knowledge. And then he just shows his like library of books, but nobody really cares about that. And they're just like focusing on the Lamborghini. I kind of do that too. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's important to learn about education and learning about the foundations of financial literacy. And then I'm just like casually showing this is actually a screenshot of my bank account today, but that's not what's important, right? That's not what's important. In fact, some people think I should be ashamed because, when my money comes in, I don't have any of it there and it just goes all the way out. So I don't have 3 to 6 months of savings, but that's not really what's really important. Oh, what's this? A HELOC for $280,000, and this is the latest screenshot that I got for today, and I only just have $519 balance left, and I'm going to pay off tomorrow. But that's not really that important. You know what's really more important? Knowledge, folks. I kind of mention things casually and just pretend like it's not there, kind of like Lopez, but you know that people are watching. And I call this the velocity banking poker face, right? So whenever I talk about like debt payoff and all that, okay, I know that people are watching. Now, how do I know that people are watching? Because I have YouTube analytics, right? YouTube analytics is free. You could literally see who watches your channel for how long and where they're actually from. And so the top three states that watch this YouTube channel is Texas, Florida, and California for some reason. You know what I mean? And I don't know why that is, but a lot of people from there watch this channel, and if you take a look here at the YouTube analytics for the lifetime of this channel, I'm going to zoom in. 50,000 watch hours. So that's like about more than 5.5 years and 440,000 views. So eventually we're going to get to 500,000. And then once we'll be at a million. And then, what's funny is that even though a lot of people watch this channel, not a lot of people commenting. In fact, if you take a look here, actually, let me go into the content section of this channel. You see how few comments there are? 129 views, zero comments, zero comments, three comments here, one comment here, 0, 4, 1, 0, 0. But we got good watch time. We got good watch time and good views. In fact, you know what's funny? I called some of you out in one of my previous videos where I said, you know what, y'all got the velocity banking poker face, and magically when I called you out, a lot of you replied like, yeah, I'm here, I swear, I'm just watching videos, but I admit it, I got the poker face, I got the poker face. I've been watching your videos and I'm so obsessed, and it's just fun. Listen, I'm not like making fun of you. I just think it's an interesting dynamic that like this channel has with its audience where it and this happens to me in real life too, where I talk about like, oh, velocity banking, and then like and sometimes people like I've seen other people's presentations where the audience is challenge them, like, well, how can you do this with the higher interest rate line of credit? Nobody challenges me. Nobody challenges me. You know what they do? They get up and then they walk away as soon as possible. And I know exactly what's happening. You know why? Because if someone had shown me this as their bank account back when I was making 20 grand a year, I just wouldn't know. I'd just be like ashamed and having all these feelings and like, what's going on? Like, how does this person do this? That's what I was thinking, and I just run away because it's like, why wasn't I taught this? But it's funny how people are the way that they are. They don't want to ask. The person in the room's got an agenda, which I do, right? I admit that I do. I have an agenda, but it's kind of lighthearted, and I'll sell you some stuff if you want it, and only if you want it. Only if you want it. Like, I'm a no pressure guy, and sometimes I really think I gotta FOMO your ASS in order for you to better your life, right? Because I know there are a lot of people struggling. You know what's crazy? I see a lot of videos on YouTube nowadays of people who are younger than me, and they all talk about like living in their car. Now I know click one video and get like the recommendation of all these other videos. It's like, dude, why are there so many people living in their car? And then you're like, oh wait, I did that once for like a couple. No, I don't want to say a couple of months, but 1 month. But it was crazy. It was really crazy, right? Yeah, so let's just do another velocity banking review. But before we get started, you all know what I like to do. I like to ask ChatGPT about the things that I experience just so that I know I'm not crazy. I'm like, the CEO of Salesforce. I don't know if you ever read the article about how he uses ChatGPT as like a therapy device because I think as you get to higher and higher levels, you're not able to relate with most people. Like I made a video last time about like being financial free is lonely because everybody else is broke. So, by definition, you're going to be lonely because nobody knows what they're doing. But let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT. All right. So before we get started, what should we ask ChatGPT? Can you describe the velocity banking poker face? Okay, let's make it a little more bit more interesting. In the voice of, let's see, what's an interesting character? The Joker, right? The Joker, and I'll just say Batman villain. Let's see what happens, okay? Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and play it.
Ah, the velocity banking poker face, eh? Picture this. You're there showing them how their debt, the big bad boogeyman, could have been locked away ages ago, and as the numbers dance across the screen, their faces freeze. No gasp, no smile. Just this delicious, what the hell have I been doing with my life kind of stare. It's like I just told them Gotham's finest have been chasing their tails all night while I made off with the loot. They don't know whether to laugh, cry, or flip the table. But oh, they're feeling it. Deep down they're screaming, why didn't I see this before? And that, my friend, is the magic moment, the chaos brewing inside while they sit there, motionless, trying to play it cool. Their world's upside down, and they don't even know it yet. Isn't it beautiful? Ha! Ha! Ha!
And if you didn't know, this is like ChatGPT's new Santa Claus voice. But the Santa Claus voice seems kind of a little I don't know if evil is the right word, but it does sound kind of a little malicious, right? So all right, let's go ahead and get started before y'all are thinking, why didn't I see this before? And I just assumed that's the reason. And again, I get a lot of watch time, but it's probably the reason why like so few people comment because y'all got the velocity banking poker face, but here's the thing. You can't hide it. You know why? I got YouTube Analytics. YouTube Analytics. In fact, before I get started, I just want to quickly check just to make sure I'm not crazy where most of you are all from. So if I go to geography, and then I go to United States. Is it still California, Florida, and Texas? Oh, I am right. California, Texas, and Florida, and then little old Georgia right here, 5,900 views. Okay. So I don't know what makes these three states want to watch this more than any other state, but it's all good. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me open up the velocity banking sheet. All right, so let's get started. What is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you use your line of credit as your main operating account. So in order to do velocity banking, you just need two things. Number one is a budget. So we have a simple budget right here: income, expenses, savings. And let me go ahead and zoom this up so it's easier to read. And then we have our expense breakdown, which lists every single debt that we have, every single one. And then at the very end, something that's not a debt, we just kind of clump them together in food, gas, insurance, other, right? So all of our general expenses here. And then our goal is to pay off all the debt. And the way that I always like to do these demonstrations, make them really simple, is imagine that we had a line of credit. It's very similar to the amount of credit card debt that we have. So this would be a 47,000. So let's just assume we have maybe a $50,000 limit at 8%. And so again, first step is doing the budget. Second step is uh, making your line of credit as your main operating account. Now, it doesn't mean get a line of credit at this moment, because if you make $6,000 and you only have $930 left because you have all this debt, nobody's going to lend you money. Nobody, right? Because banks don't lend money to people who need it. I'm sick of saying it, but I got to say it because a lot of people are like, well, how do you get a line of credit? And the answer is don't. Or maybe you should if you can, if you're desperate. What I'm saying is that it's much easier to get it when you don't need the money. Okay. And I say this as a person who has a ton of credit. Let me take a look at this one. $280,000 home equity line of credit limit. What does that mean? Well, basically, you offer your home equity as collateral to the bank, and then they offer you a line of credit. So, line of credit, all it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and use it over and over again. A credit card's a line of credit. I have over $575,000 in lines of credit. $575,000 in lines of credit because I understand the ultimate rule of getting credit, which is banks don't lend money to people who need it. Okay, that's all it is. All right. So, yeah, let's just assume we have a $50,000 line of credit for us to be available. And then we're just going to copy the income and we're going to do this crazy thing where we're just not going to have any savings, right? This is the hardest part of velocity banking. Actually, there's two hard parts. Number one, changing your mindset about banking, which is understanding that banks don't lend money to people who need it. And then number two, not having any savings in your checking account. So you take a look here. And again, this is like my Lamborghini moment with Ty Lopez. Like, oh yeah, just 17 grand into the checking account this month. Oh, 17 grand out. You know? The point is this, okay? I'm just flexing right now, but yeah, I don't have any money in my checking account or very little, right? Maybe a dollar or two or some pennies. I don't know, right? But money comes in, money comes out, and I just don't have any savings, right? So that's what we're doing here. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy and paste this, and then what we're gonna do is do income minus expenses, and that's what we're going to call our cash flow. Okay. Now, how do we know what debts we need to move into our line of credit to maximize our cash flow? Well, we use this thing called the cash flow index, right? All it is a simple formula where you get the balance of the debt and then you divide them by the minimum payment. So 1050, and then this one's like 7,000 divided by 227.5, and then this one is 10,000 divided by 258.33. Yeah, 0.33. Okay. And then luckily I have this loan calculator that has this calculated for the amortized loan. So I just got to copy and paste these right here. And all right. And so now this is kind of like a ranking system. And the lower the number, it means when you pay it off, you get more bang for your buck in terms of cash flow. That's all that means. And this is why we pay off the mortgage last, because it's like, all right, in order to pay off this mortgage, this $200,000 loan, I only get $811 back in my cash flow. Whereas if I pay only this $30,000 off, I get $1,000 in my cash flow. See how that works? That's why we always focus on the mortgage last. Okay. So let's go ahead and move these low cash flow index loans into our line of credit. And this is $47,000. So we just do 47,000 here. And then guess what happens here? Whoa, these all go to zero. And so here's the last step. This entire paycheck goes into the line of credit, entire $6,000. So it does two things. Number one, it satisfies the minimum monthly payment. And number two, okay, it minimizes the interest because of the lower average daily balance. That's how they calculate the line of credit interest, right? And so now we have $2,466 of cash flow. We went from 930 to over 2,000, relatively easy. And then that's going to be the amount we're going to use to reduce the balance every single month, okay? And then here are the formulas. And what's funny is I do the exact same video all the time and the exact same formulas, and people don't pause the video. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't expect you to get it. Just copy the formulas. Okay. So to get the next month's balance, it's the previous month's balance, previous month's interest minus our cash flow. And then what you do is you take the average daily balance here, right? Multiply it by the interest rate and then divide by 12, right? So what's funny is that I put an 8% interest rate here, but if you take a look at this line of credit, look at this, 7.75. When I signed the contract, they're like 8% interest. That's your interest rate. And then I got like a letter last week saying, you know what? We decided to lower it to 7.75. I was like, thanks. You're the best. Credit union's the best, right? All right. So let's go ahead and do this. And all we gotta do is copy and paste these formulas, copy and paste, and we see how long it takes for us to pay off our debt. So here that those credit cards were paid off in about 21 months. Not bad. Not bad. So 21 months and how much? How many K? It is 47K. 47K. And I'm gonna copy and paste this. And then now we focus on these higher cash flow index debts. And luckily we have our loan calculator right here. So we just gotta do is do this 21, 21, 21, put the current month. It has our current balance. And look at this 15 grand cash flow index, right? 15 grand. So let's go ahead and 35 cash flow index. So let's go ahead and move this into the line of credit. Okay. So now I'm gonna move this 15 grand 15036.43 into the line of credit. And then now what happens here? Well, this auto loan turns to 0. And now our cash flow is almost 3 grand, 2.8. Okay, see how easy that was? That was so easy. And hopefully y'all don't have the poker face while I'm doing this demonstration, 2891.91. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. And in whoopsie, where'd I go? In 26 months, it's all paid off. All right, so just a little bit over 2 years, we paid off our debt up to the auto loan. And then this would be 69K. All right, and then now after 26 months, what's the balance of the student loan? 45K. So here's kind of like a general rule of thumb. Anytime you have a CFI over 50 and you got lower interest rate loans, best to use the what we call the chunking method, which is just taking little pieces of the loan and moving it into the line of credit. That's all it is, right? Even if you have higher interest rate lines of credit, you'll notice that it's the chunking method um, works for the most part, right? It's kind of resistant to the interest rate. I don't know why, but that's how it works. So let me pull out the velocity banking calculator. I'm not going to explain it too much, but give me one moment to just put in the numbers. Okay, so I think I got the velocity banking calculator pulled up. So let me just kind of redo this and redo this, all of this. Okay. And what is this calculator from? Oh, it's from Renatus. That's where I originally learned velocity banking from. So if you're interested in learning more about Renatus and upping your educational game, learning more about financial literacy, real estate investing, and in addition to velocity banking, click the Google form link below. Going to make a quick plug. I do make a commission off of whatever you purchase, right? But again, it's actually for me. I want to make the money. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about you. No, I'm just kidding. But I should say that because you always want to put the disclaimer so people don't be like, "Well, you said you were gonna do a real estate deal with you." I never said that. I don't even care about you. I'm like Chris Tucker from Rush Hour. I'm not. Ironically, I'm not Jackie Chan. Remember, he in the beginning of Rush Hour, he's like, "Look, nobody care about you. Nobody care about you, Lee." And it's like, "Soo Young don't care about me. No, nobody care about you." And then she's like, "Why would she say that?" Remember that? Oh man, Rush Hour is a great movie, even though Jackie Chan said he didn't understand it at all. Anyways, so all I got to do in this section is just put in the numbers here. And so 55,000, 5.5, and 10. So let's do this 55,000, 5.5, 10 years. And then what's the payment amount? 596.89. So 596.89. And then what's the current balance? The current balance is 45,501.94. So 45,501.94. And then what's our income? Our income, let's just take a look here, is $6,000. $6,000. And then our expenses is everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. So just beat these two. And let's go ahead and sum it up. So 2511.2. So let's just go ahead and do this. 2511, whoopsie, 2511.2. And then how much do we move to a line of credit? Just do it similar to how much you're getting paid. You should be fine as a rule of thumb. All right, so now 1.1 years and $1,500 of interest. Pretty good, right? It's pretty effing good. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do this. And all right, so now it's 26 divided by 12 plus 1.1. So it's 3.27 years. I'm going to do it with, no, actually got to do it in months. My bad. Because I got to put in the loan calculator, which is in months. So just do times 12. All right. So I'll say 40 months. Okay, 40 months. And then 69 plus 55. All right, so 124K. All right. So now we just do the same thing with the mortgage. We take a look here, put 40 here, get the loan balance, put in the information, $200,000. So this is going to be here, $200,000. And then this will be 30 years. And then this will be 1700, right? Everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. And then the balance here is 811.2, 811.2. Okay, and then what's our current, or I'm sorry, not the balance, the payment amount. And if I go in here, 2.7% interest rate, and what's the current balance? The current balance is 184,899.84. So 184,899.84. And then, well, blam, 3.8 years. See, I don't even have to think about it. The calculator does it for me. Look how easy it is. And look how detailed it is. I'm gonna have my mind explode by looking at this too much and then go cross-eyed, you know. But yeah, this is way more detailed than I would do it because I'm not that smart. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not that smart. But yeah, so yeah, just now these now go to 0, 0, and then um 40 divided by 12. All right, 40 divided by 12 plus 3.8. 7.13 years debt free. Not bad. Debt free. And then this is going to be 124 plus 200. So that's 324K of debt. Now that's a sweet meatball. Okay. So yeah, that's it pretty much for today. And I'm going to end at that. And you know what? Let me just do this again. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to describe the velocity banking poker face. And, hopefully, I know that some of you like to watch the content. Maybe you let me know your thoughts. Maybe you put a comment below. Maybe, what's that thing that YouTubers always do? Make sure you like and subscribe, right? And put the notification bell, ding. All right, so let's see. In the voice of, let's say, I don't know, Magneto. Do we want to do villains, or maybe we should do heroes? I don't know. Let's do Magneto. Let's see what happens.
Ah, the velocity banking poker face. A fascinating display of human vulnerability. It is as if you have shown them a new way to manipulate the forces that have bound them for so long, chains they believed unbreakable. You lay out the numbers, the strategies, and the reality of their potential freedom. And then it happens. Their faces remain still, stoic even, but behind those eyes there is turmoil. You can feel the weight of their realization, the quiet rage against a system they once trusted, the disbelief that they could have freed themselves sooner. They mask it well, but I see it clearly. A desperate attempt to hold on to their composure as the walls of their financial prison crumble around them. It is not shock that paralyzes them. It is awakening. And much like humanity's struggle against evolution, they fear the unknown. But fear not. You are showing them a path to power, to control over their lives. Whether they accept it or not, the truth is immutable. The age of ignorance is over. They simply have to decide if they are ready to rise.
I love this. This is so funny. Or maybe we'll just do two more in the voice of, I know this is cliche, Morpheus from the Matrix, right? This is going to be, I think this is going to be what you expect it to be. But let's do this one. And then we'll do one more. Maybe like Superman or Batman.
Ah, the velocity banking poker face, a look I've seen many times before. It is the moment when the mind begins to question everything it once believed to be true. As you unveil the strategy, their faces remain calm, unmoving. But beneath the surface, a storm is raging. You can see it, can't you? The subtle flicker in their eyes. It's the moment they realize they've been trapped in a system, a matrix of financial slavery, designed to keep them complacent. Their silence is not ignorance, it's the weight of choice pressing down on them. They are asking themselves, how could I have missed this? How long have I been asleep? The numbers you show them, the methods, they are the red pill, and they are just now beginning to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. But the question remains, will they act, or will they let fear keep them bound to the system? That, my friend, is a choice only they can make. All you can do is show them the door. They must decide whether to walk through it. What happens next is up to them.
And I really thought that was a powerful quote when I first saw The Matrix. Like you show them the door, they gotta walk through it, and a lot of people can't walk through the door. Okay, final one. Let's do Superman because we got that new Superman trailer coming out, and I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I'm always interested in watching a Superman film when it does come out. So let's go ahead and do this. See, the how did I not see this before is kind of a common thing when it comes to this.
The velocity banking poker face, it's not just an expression, it's a quiet battle within. You see, people are resilient, hopeful even, but when you show them the truth, the power they've always had to break free from their financial struggles, it's a moment of reckoning. Their faces might not change, but I can see it. The realization hits them like a shockwave. They're grappling with the idea that the system they trusted, the one they thought was there to help, has been holding them back. It's not anger, not fear, it's disbelief. How did I not see this before? And yet there's something else too, a spark, the possibility of a better way forward. That's what I focus on, because deep down I know they have what it takes to rise above, to reclaim their financial freedom. They just need a little guidance, someone to remind them that they've always had the strength to make it happen. And that's the thing about hope. It's always there, waiting for the moment it's needed most.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually like when the villains describe it better. When it's the heroes, it's just a little plain and generic, but it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, that's pretty much a velocity banking poker face. Again, a fascinating display of human vulnerability where people just stare at it and they're probably thinking a lot of things, no gas, no smile. What the heck have I been doing with my life kind of stare? Why didn't I see this before? I think that my favorite response so far has been the Joker one, right? What about you? Okay. All right. So, well, that'll be it for today. This is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And after I post this video and I don't see any comments, I'll just see, all right, well, audience has still got the velocity banking poker face. All right, have a great one.